Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this week's Hatha practice. For props for today, I suggest having a couple hard blocks and a soft block, and anything else you'd like to have around. When you're ready, we'll get started in child's pose today. So come and find your version of the shape if you want to have knees together, knees apart. If you want to add something between hips and heels or something to support the chest or forehead, then go for it. Slowly let your body settle into the shape and check in here, maybe find a little movement. See if any part of the body could be a little more comfortable here, and feel free to modify your shape to accommodate anything going on. Find the arm expression that feels best for right now. And at any point, if you need to change your shape, go for it. Finding your stillness as you're ready. Take a moment to notice your mind and your headspace here. Does it feel busy or quiet or something else? Without judgment, just notice. Notice what thoughts might be coming up, and know that you can just notice them. You don't have to follow them to their conclusion. As you feel ready to, gently invite the breath to deepen here. With each inhale, finding a sense of space in the body. And with each exhale, softening. And if the arms are reaching out in front of you, you can start to walk your hands towards the top right corner of the mat. Maybe the head will follow. And keeping the hips in midline, finding a side stretch from the left hip all the way up to the left elbow. Imagine you could breathe a little more space there. And the next time you inhale, walk the body back to center, and then hands towards the top left, find your side stretch for the second side. With an inhale, walking the arms back to center, and now pull the body through, come to lying down on the belly. And take a moment to set yourself up. You can untuck the toes, press the toenails to the floor, and hands can stay somewhere near the shoulders. And then pressing the pelvis and the toenails down, inhale breath, lift the heart up off the floor, and soften down as you exhale. Eyes can be open or closed. Keep going with your breath, inhaling to lift any amount, and exhaling to soften. A few more like this. Last couple, you might even lift a little higher. Last one. With your next inhale, press up to tabletop position, and then hips to the heels, and we'll come and find a kneeling shape. If this shape doesn't work for you for any reason, feel free to find an easy pose instead. You can also add some padding to the knees. Maybe a couple blocks under the bum if you need a little more height or if you want to take the pressure out of the knees. Take a moment, ground down through whatever's touching the floor, feel a rebound through the spine, and stacking the skull on top of it. Find a little softness for the shoulders. A soft gaze, our eyes can be closed. Make sure you have some space around you here, and bring the hands to prayer in front of the heart. With an inhale breath, start to reach the arms straight up towards the ceiling. And then as you start to exhale, separate the hands and let them open wide, lowering them down to your sides. And then again like that, inhale, hands to prayer, raise them up to the ceiling. And exhale, open wide. Keep going with your breath at your pace and a range of motion that feels good in your body and your shoulders. And slowing down the movement to match your nice deep inhales and exhales. With each inhale, imagining that space inside you. With each exhale, feeling the space all around you. Last few full deep breaths here. Last full round. At the end of your next exhale, pause. Maybe give the arms a little shake out. And you can slide off to one side, release the legs, and give the legs a little shake out too. Maybe a tap for the backs of the knees. Awesome. And then you can bend the knees and take a moment to find the connection of the sit bones to the floor. You can scoop the flesh out of the way. You can also sit on a soft block. With your feet flat to the floor, maybe take hold of the knees for a moment. Take a moment to stretch open the chest here. Find a little softness for the shoulders. And you can stay right here for boat pose. Work with your breath, or you can come to tippy toes, or you can lift the shins up off the floor. You can keep holding the knees, or you can release them here. And take a moment to notice that length from the tailbone to the crown, maybe a slight tuck of the chin, that space for the chest, some softness for the shoulders. A steady gaze, your eyes can close. Find your breath here. If you find that the breath starts to get choppy or it's hard to take those deep inhales, then maybe back out until you can find that breath. Last couple. All right, lowering the feet down to the floor, and then we'll lower all the way down to the back. And you can touch down. The feet stay roughly underneath the knees. Find a distance between the feet that feels comfortable here. And we'll set up to flow bridge. So you might set up with robot arms, elbows by the rib cage, fingertips towards the ceiling. Notice the soles of the feet for a moment. Notice the triceps pressing to the floor, the shoulders. As you're ready with an inhale, lift the pelvis any amount. And with your exhale, slowly sequence the spine back down to the floor. Not racing your breath, moving with it, inhaling to lift. And exhaling to lower. And keep going with your breath, your pace, your range of motion. Last couple. And last round. As the spine and pelvis touch down, separate the feet a little wider, maybe rest the knees in together, hands can land on the body somewhere. And take a scan through the body just to check in here, be with your breath. when you feel ready, keeping the same basic shape, roll down to your right hand side. You can rest the head on that right bicep, or you can bend the elbow and catch the head, see what feels most comfortable, and keep the feet roughly lined up with the hips and the shoulders, knees are bent out in front. And keeping the feet, the ankles together here, working with clamshell movement. So as you inhale, lift that left knee up towards the ceiling, feet stay together. And with your exhale, gently close back in. And then keep going with your breath, opening and exhaling to close. Make sure it feels like a pain-free movement here. If you need to modify, go for it. Last couple. Last one. And a little different as you inhale, open up. And with your exhale, pause, and we'll stay here for 3 deep breaths. And take your last deep inhale. And with your exhale, gently close the legs back up. And roll back onto your back, and then roll onto your second side. And see if this side feels a little different. Maybe you need slightly different support. Feet roughly in line with the pelvis, with the shoulders. Support the head any way you like. And keeping the ankles together as best you can. Inhale breath, start to lift the right knee up now. And with your exhale, close it back down. And keep going with your breath, your range of motion. Last couple. Last round like this. And then inhale, open, and we'll pause here. 3 deep breaths. And take your last inhale. And exhale, lower the right knee. Rolling back onto your back as you're ready. And collecting the knees into the chest now. You can wrap the arms around the shins. Find a little movement here, maybe wriggling side to side or rolling front and back. It might feel nice to take a happy baby here as well. You can reach between the knees, maybe catch the ankles, the shins, the feet. And prioritize keeping the low back grounded here, even if you need to hold the feet a little differently. It's still early in practice as well. Stillness, maybe a little movement or rocking, see what feels best for the hips here. And in a moment, we'll transition to downward facing dog. So see how you'd like to get there. One option would be to roll down to one side, and you can come through hands and knees. Another option, you can start to rock and roll up the length of the spine. And eventually building up enough momentum that you can come up towards the seat and then maybe rolling over the knees and finding your downward facing dog this way. Either way, take your time to arrive, and when you do, take the first couple of breaths to set yourself up. Find the proportions of the shape that feel best for today, and then maybe some movement, get into that back line of the legs and stretch out the calves, the hamstrings, and check in with the shoulders, make sure that they feel stable, engaged. Hands can stay pressing the floor away. And check in with the head, and if it feels like you're holding it in a specific place, maybe you can let that go and let it hang heavy. Perhaps a nod, yes and no, to release. Awesome. And when you're ready, find your stillness, maybe a slight bend to the knees, find that downward slope of the spine, and take a deep inhale, deep sigh, and again, inhale, exhale, last one. Now inhale, bend your knees, look forward. With your exhale, walk your feet to the hands and come and find your forward fold at the top of the mat. If for any reason this is too much for the low back, you can be in more of a halfway lift, maybe a block for each hand. And otherwise, you can bend the knees as much as you need to support the spine here. Find your expression, maybe some movement, or you can come straight to stillness. From your forward fold, take a moment to notice the feet and notice where your weight is. Is it more heels or toes? Maybe there's something you can do to find a little more balance between the two. And from your forward fold, as you feel ready, supported by the hands, slowly start to round all the way up to stand. You can pause anywhere along the way. Use the hands as much as you need. And when you arrive, come up and find your mountain pose, so whatever distance between the feet feels the most steady for you. And take a moment to ground down through the whole sole of each foot. And rebounding the spine, finding the space for the chest, some softness for the shoulders. Notice where your balance is, notice where your weight is. Maybe finding a soft gaze, looking at something unmoving to keep you steady, or the eyes can close down. And take a scan from the feet to the head just to notice. And choose stillness for as long as you need. And only when you're ready, inhale breath, bring the hands to prayer, start to reach them towards the ceiling. Exhale and release the hands open and down to your sides. Inhale breath, hands together, reach up. And exhale, release. And keep going with your breath. Last few rounds like this. Your next inhale, bring the hands to prayer, but pause at the chest. And then stay here with your exhale, ground down through the feet. Inhale, breath, puff up the chest, soften the shoulders. And exhale, bend the knees, come and find your chair pose. Find a depth that feels appropriate. Hands can stay in prayer. You can bring them to the lap for more support, more challenge. Reach out or up. Make sure the shoulders and the low back are happy with whatever you've chosen. And take a few deep breaths here. Ground down evenly through both feet. All right, the next time you inhale, come all the way up, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And with your exhale, let the arms separate and hinge forward to your forward fold. Halfway lift to lengthen. And step the right foot to the back of the mat. We'll set up a lunge shape, so your choice if you want to lower the back knee or keep it lifted. If it's lifted, then keep that back foot active, press the ball of the foot into the floor. And when you're ready, find your balance and come on up for your lunge. If you need to widen your base, if it feels a little wobbly or shorten, lengthen, and take a moment to set it up however you need. Hands can find prayer when you're ready. Maybe a gaze point to keep you steady. And choose stillness here, or that same flow with the arms as you inhale, start to reach up. Exhale, open wide. Your breath, your pace. Your whole inhale to lift. Your whole exhale to lower. Last 2 full rounds. Final one like this. For the transition, inhale, raise the arms towards the ceiling. Hinge forward, swan dive, bring the fingertips down. Inhale to your lunge, lift the heart space, the gaze, and then plant the palms and step to downward facing dog. Option to stay in down dog, you can also lower to your knees and find child's pose, or with an inhale breath, shift forward to plank. With your exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. Untuck the toes, 3 rounds of cobra, inhale breath, and soften. Use the hands as much as you need. Once you finish, inhale for tabletop, and exhale for downward facing dog. Stillness or movement, take a couple of breaths here. From your down dog, ground down evenly through both hands. The next time you inhale, lift the right leg up behind you. With your exhale, step the right foot forward between the hands and then spin the left heel to the floor. Left toes point towards the left. When you're ready, with an inhale, cartwheel the arms up, and we'll come and find Warrior 2 lunge. So left toes mostly pointing to the left, front toes mostly towards the front, but adjust to accommodate your body. Find a length to your base that feels appropriate. You can also walk the right foot a little to the right, a little to the left. We'll flow a little differently in this shape, so hands can start off in prayer. And we'll do the same arm movement, but we'll also extend and bend that front right knee. So as you're ready, with an inhale breath, start to reach the arms up, start to extend the right leg towards straight. As you exhale, open the arms wide and rebend the right knee. Let the arms circle, so inhale breath, hands come together and reach, front leg extends. And exhale back to your Warrior 2 and continue. Your breath, your pace. Eyes open or closed. last one. A little different. Keep the circle going. Inhale, reach up, extend the front leg. Keep the front leg extended now and lower the arms just to a T shape. Now with an inhale, reach forward through the right fingertips and then hinge for triangle. So right hand can find the shin, a block, or the floor. Any height setting. Left hand can be at the hip or up towards the ceiling. Notice the feet here, keep them evenly pressed into the floor. Notice the space across the chest and the shoulders. Notice the length from the tailbone to the crown. Breathe here. Strong belly. The next time you inhale, come all the way up. Reverse your triangle, left hand to the left leg, right arm up and over. And stay here with your exhale. Another deep inhale, lengthen the right side. Stay, exhale. One more deep breath here. Inhale, breath, come on up. Exhale, cartwheel the hands to the floor. Step forward to your forward fold. Find any movement that feels good here. Modify with your props as needed. You can also come up and rest in standing, or you could be in a squat if that feels better than a forward fold. Whatever you've chosen, find your stillness as you feel ready to. And quiet down the body. And from your forward fold, or if you're somewhere else, we'll slowly make our way to stand. Rounding the back, walking the hands up the legs, move with your breath, pause along the way as needed. And when you're ready, you come up and find your mountain pose. Steady feet, steady breath. Only when you feel ready to move on, bring the hands to prayer at the heart. And press the feet down. Inhale, breath, puff the chest up. And then exhale, bend the knees for your chair pose. And second round here, so if you need something a little different, go for it. If you have more space for more depth, then go for that. And take a few deep, steady breaths. When you're ready, pressing the feet to the floor, inhale, breath, come up, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And then hinge from the hips, swan dive down to your forward fold. Halfway lift to lengthen. And step the left foot to the back of the mat. Left knee can stay lifted, or you can lower it if that's what you did on the first side. Really press the foot to the floor, and when you're ready with an inhale, come on up for a high crescent lunge. Again, you can adjust your shape as needed. You can widen, lengthen, do whatever you need. Hands find prayer. Take a moment to notice the low back, and if it feels like a deep back bend, maybe a slightly deeper hug of the pubic bone towards the belly button to counter that. Hands to prayer. Choose stillness, or with your inhale, reach up. With your exhale, out, open to circle. Keep going. Last couple. Last one. Inhale, breath. The arms reach all the way up to the ceiling. And then swan dive forward with your exhale. A halfway lift to lengthen. And plant the palms downward facing dog. Down dog, child's pose, or with an inhale, shift forward to plank. Lower all the way down to the belly. Untuck the toes, back bend as you inhale. And soften down. Use the hands as much or as little as you need. 2 more. Last one. Tabletop as you inhale. And downward facing dog as you exhale. And from your downward facing dog, inhale breath, lift the left leg up behind you. Exhale, step that left foot forward between the hands, spin the right heel to the floor, right toes point right. Inhale breath to cartwheel the arms up, and we'll set up for warrior 2 on the second side. Adjust as needed. Take a moment to find your stance. Find something that feels strong and stable. And then getting ready to flow with the breath when you're ready. Inhale breath, front leg extends, hands reach to the ceiling. And then sink into your warrior 2 as you exhale. Circle the arms. Inhale slowly all the way up. And exhale all the way down. Last one like this. Inhale, reach the arms up, extend the front leg. The front leg stays extended, release the arms to a T. And then inhale breath, reach forward as far as you can. And then hinge for triangle. Left hand, shin, block floor. Right hand, hip, or maybe up towards the ceiling. Find that length, hand to hand. Find that pressing of both feet evenly to the floor. That length from the tailbone to the crown. Fill your shape as you breathe. Last couple of deep breaths. And really pressing the feet to the floor. Strong belly. Inhale, come all the way up. Right hand, right hip or leg, left arm reaches up and over. And take a deep inhale, lengthen. And stay with your exhale. And 2 more deep breaths. And take your final inhale. As you exhale, cartwheel the hands to the floor and we'll step forward to a forward fold. And take a moment in your forward fold to move it out however you need. And then come and find stillness as you feel ready. And perhaps interlacing the hands behind the skull, adding a little more weight to the end of the spine.
If you have a bind, you can let that go. And then slowly, with an inhale, start to round all the way up to stand and take your time to arrive. Once you do arrive, you can lift and spread the toes, lower them with a little distance. Maybe lift the shoulders and then soften them down and back. Finding your mountain pose, finding the stability in the body, the strength, the softness. And take a moment to check in here, take that scan. Notice your headspace, notice your breath. Only when you're ready, flutter the eyes open, wiggle the fingers and the toes. We'll set up to find a balance shape, and we're not going to do this as part of a sequence. If you'd like to be closer to a wall, then go for it. I will offer that same arm flow though, so just make sure you have space side to side. And setting for tree pose, so lift and spread the left toes out, lower them with a little distance, and then come onto the right tippy toes, open the right knee towards the right. So you can stay here with this tree pose, or you can connect foot to ankle, calf, maybe up to the inner thigh. And when you do, then check in. You might imagine pressing the left leg into that right foot and see if that helps you stabilize. It might even help you grow a little taller. A steady gaze to help you feel a little less wobbly. Hands to prayer at the heart. Choose to stay in stillness, or inhale breath, reach the hands towards the ceiling and circled out and down. Inhale, hands together, reach, and open. 5 more if you're flowing with me, nice and slow. Last couple. Last one. At the end of your exhale, release the right leg and step it down. Give the left leg a little shake out. If the arms, the head, anything at all needs one, go for it. And when you're ready, we'll set up straight for the second side. So you can lift and spread the right toes now, maybe rock forward and back, find that balance of weight. Left tippy toes, left knee out towards the left. And then mirror whatever expression you did on the first side. But if the side needs something a little different, if you need to modify, then go for it. Right leg presses into that left foot. Find that engagement through the pelvis, the glutes. Find that rising through the spine, space for the chest. Find your steady gaze point, stillness, or if you're flowing with me, inhale breath, reach up. Arms open, exhale. Nice and slow with your breath. Last 3 rounds. The final one. When you finish the last round, step the left foot down, give the right leg a little shake out, arms a shake out, and then come and find your stillness for a couple of breaths. Set up your mountain pose, soften into it, and take a moment to check in. And check in with your headspace, your thoughts, your breath, your body. Only when you feel ready to move again, you can set the feet a little wider apart, maybe point the toes to an angle, and then start to bend the knees, and we'll come down for a squat. If you need to modify your shape or if you need to add some props or anything else, then go for it. Hands can stay to the floor, or you can bring hands to prayer. If the hands are at the chest, then press the knees into the elbows to create a sense of stability for the pelvis, lengthening the spine here, softening anything you don't need. Releasing one hand and the other behind you and lowering the bum down to the floor. And set the feet a little wider apart and gently windshield wiper the knees side to side. Awesome. The next time the knees come down towards the left, pause here, and we'll set up for deer pose. So take a moment to adjust your shape. The top shin will be mostly parallel to the top edge, and then the right shin mostly parallel to the long edge. If you find yourself leaning over quite heavily, then you might choose to prop up that left hip, especially if it gives the spine a sense that it's like a little more even. And then make sure that the knees are comfortable here. If you need to pad them or anything, go for it. You can also bring the heels a little closer to the body, and sometimes that will change the shape as well and make it more accessible. I normally offer the 3 places to fold for this shape, so folding directly over the knee, more towards the shin, or more towards the ankle, and they'll each target slightly different parts. I'll let you know when we're about halfway through the shape, and if you want to change where you're folded, you can. But whenever you're ready, come and find your version of the fold, see what feels best in your body, and you can bring along some props for support as well. Make sure it feels like a pain-free expression. If there's any pinching going on, then maybe come out. Perhaps you can come around it, or you can change the shape up altogether. And thread the needle on the back can be a good alternative for this shape. And we're about halfway through, so if you want to change where you're folded or if you want to modify it all, then go for it. Last 10 or so breaths here. With an inhale breath, as you're ready, start to lift yourself up. If you have a prop under the left hip, you can slide it out of the way and then roll back onto the bum. Start to windshield wiper the knees side to side. And then when you feel ready to, as the knees come down to the right, we'll pause here and set up the second side. This side may feel completely different. Make sure you have your props within reach in case you need them. So if it feels the same, you can set up exactly the same way. But if you need to modify, then that's fine too. Better to listen to your body and give it whatever it needs for this side as well. And where you choose to fold from might be a little different here as well. So take a moment just to play around. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as the first side. And I'll let you know again when we're about halfway through. And quieting down the body as you're ready. And finding your breath here. We're about halfway through, so if you need to shift in your shape for any reason, then go for it. Listening to your body, using your props as needed. Awesome. As you're ready, slowly make your way back up. Lean back on the hands and gently windshield wiper the knees side to side a few more times. Awesome. And when you're ready, come and find a seat. It can be easy pose or anything else that you like, maybe sitting up off of a prop. And it might help to have a hard block nearby. We're going to set up for a twist and we'll flow into it the same way. So hands to prayer, inhale breath, reach them up. Soften the arms, exhale. Circle up, inhale. And exhale. One more like this. Now for the twist, hands together, reach them up, inhale. And twist towards the right and let the fingertips land wherever they land. So whether it's floor or maybe legs. And take a moment to lengthen here. And as you sigh out, then soften the shoulders just a little bit. If you like to take the gaze over the right shoulder, then go for it. And stay here for a few deep breaths. And coming back to center as you're ready, take a counter twist. Awesome. And then back to center. If you're sitting cross-legged, just change the cross of the legs to keep things even for the body. And then 3 more rounds of breath with a circle movement. Inhaling, reach the arms up. Open wide, soften down. 2 more. And for the transition, hands together, arms reach up. And twist to the left now, your second side. Let the fingertips land. Adjusting as you need to, lengthening the spine, and softening that left shoulder, the right one, and if they're shrugging, maybe gaze over the left shoulder, breathe here. Inhale, breath, unravel to center, take your counter twist. And then back to midline, release the legs, give them just a little shake out, a tap for the knees. And then you can come off of your prop. Make sure you have your 2 hard blocks nearby in case we need them where we're going. And then we'll lower all the way down to the back. And then just take a moment to get comfortable here. Awesome. And setting the feet up roughly underneath the knees. Locate your blocks. You can use 1 or 2. And press the feet down. Lift the hips just enough that you can slide the blocks underneath the bum. And finding your restorative bridge shape. So take a moment to find something that feels comfortable and stable. If it feels like the blocks are digging into the spine at all, you might need to shift them down. Or if it feels like they're trying to escape you, then maybe a little bit up. And then option to stay here with the knees bent. Hands can be on the body or beside it or even to the floor overhead. And there's also the option to do this with extended legs. If that feels okay for you, then go for it. And find the arm expression that complements the rest of the shape best for you. And find your pain-free expression and find your stillness. You can choose to stay here a little while longer. Otherwise, if the legs are extended, slowly walk the feet back in. If the arms are lifted, you can lower them down. And lift the hips just enough that you can slide your props out of the way. And then once the pelvis lowers to the floor, bring the soles of the feet together and take the knees nice and wide for butterfly. If you have your heart blocks, you can support the hips if you like. And we'll set up for Shavasana here. So if you like the shape for Shavasana, then great. If you need something else, then feel free to modify. And you can rest on your back or in a seat, even child's pose. Find the shape that feels the most restful for you right now, the most comfortable. Check in if there's anything else that needs any adjusting on the body and your environment. And as you're ready, you can let your breath go, let it return back to its natural inhale and exhale. Let the body get heavy here as you settle yourself in. Gently deepen the breath to reawaken the body. If the legs are in butterfly, you can reach down and guide the knees together. You can either take the feet wide and pause with the knees together, or a windshield wiper might feel nice here. Give the arms some movement too, maybe rotating the wrists a few times in each direction. When you feel ready, it might feel nice to take a full body stretch. You can reach the legs and reach the arms, lengthen the whole body. And then as you're ready, come to roll to one side wherever you have the most space. And take a pause here for a couple of breaths. And supported by the hands, coming up to find any comfortable seated position. Using any of your props. And take your time, there's no rush to arrive. Settling the hips, lengthening the spine. And bring the palms together at the heart. And choose stillness, or with your inhale, raise the arms to the ceiling. Open and circle as you exhale. Inhale, hands together, reach. Exhale to soften. A few more with your breath. Finding that sense of space inside with each inhale. And feeling the space around with each exhale. Last 3. Last one. Your next inhale, bring the hands to prayer in front of the heart. And bow the chin to the chest. Thank you for sharing your breath and your energy. Namaste. My name is Nicholas. Thank you for joining me for your Hatha practice today. If you have any questions, please reach out and have a great week.